Well, good morning, everybody, for the next roughly 60 seconds. Anyway, happy Sunday. Thanks for hanging with me. This is the segment of the show where I go ahead and hit go live, and then we let the notifications go out and let folks get in, get settled down, and everything. And I wait for the clock on the wall to strike 12. And thanks to having a Frau who likes to set clocks ahead, I don't have to worry about it striking 12 anymore, so I'm not waiting for the ding-dong thing to quit bong-bonging. But we'll get going here in just a minute. Wait for that magic hand to hit the top of the hour. Then I click a button and say, howdy, y'all. Good day to everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope everybody's healthy and getting things together. It's been a heck of a week, been a heck of a month. And just glad to see everybody out there. Thanks for spending part of your Sunday with me. So before we get going on anything, let's go ahead and do a little bit of a roll call, see who's checking in with us today. We have Ice Cream 62 over there in Italy. This is about the end of your day. Should be anyway. It's 12 o'clock noon here on the west coast of the U.S. I imagine you're sitting at about 8 in the evening. Steve Late, you can't be much different. You probably around 8 in the evening as well, checking in from the UK. Steve over at Harneal Media, webmaster to the stars and sponsor of Mark Lindsay CNC, which I know needs to be updated and is being worked on in the background here. I'm going to try to do a little bit, kind of class it up a little bit. We'll see. I'm not all that well versed in websites, etc. So if you need a website, Steve's your guy. Harneal Media, check him out. Let's see. We have JMJ Love Dance, Jeff, over in Arizona, checking in. Jeff Rozak over on the other side of the continent there in Florida. William Stauffer saying that was impressive trenches. Oh, and they was deep too. Thanks very much. Okay, I'm going to try not to butcher your name, but I think it's Sargon Tabor, checking in from Laguna Niguel, California. Thanks for stopping by and saying hello. Kurt Briegel from wonderful Wisconsin. Mr. Mike Mezelik, how you doing today? Good to see you out and about. Kevin Els from South Africa. Holy cow. Still blows me away that people from all over the globe check in here and are watching with us. See, Mike Smith from the aptly named Soggy Bottom, Florida, where it is still raining. Jerry Corman checking in. Mr. Matt, Awesome Wood Things, Haas. Y'all need to check him out. He's got some good stuff over on his channel. Some awesome wood things, as you could probably tell by the title. Chris Leach, good day to you too, sir. And Francisco Paz checking in from down in Brazil. Hope everything's going well for you. Bob Sims from the UK. Mr. Michael Johnston checking in from Scotland. A nice sunny day for a change? What happened? Wow. I know a few people over in Scotland, and nice sunny days are a rarity over there, depending upon where you're at, I guess. So, let's see. Todd Burnside checking in. Greg, the Snow Crusher up in Manitoba. Good morning to you. Well, good afternoon now officially. It's been afternoon for you for a while. Richard Poulin up in Canada as well. Good afternoon. Would be first time here, checking in from Portugal. Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. Let's see. Troy Figgins. Only Chevys from Florida. Mr. Bob Lee, my electrical guru, the man who helped me get all that stuff figuring it out. Oh man, that was rough. But if I made a mistake, it's Bob's fault. Bob's fault. So let's see. Making memories with Benji. Thanks very much for the good wishes out there in South Carolina. Todd Burnside checking in from Dallas, Texas. Richard Canton in Michigan. Linda Lindsay, how did you sneak in here? Yeah, that's my better half checking in from Southern Oregon as well. Dave Pringle also in Wisconsin. Bumps checking in from Carlisle, UK. Franz Gericke from South Africa as well. Oscar. Hi, Oscar. How you doing? Christian. Are you kidding me? Christian Ababio from Ghana? Wow. Hello. Chris Leach, where is our host? He's right here. He's right here. Dan Keith checking in from New Mexico. Rodney Roberts checking in. And Mike Ricard from South Carolina. Thanks for sharing part of your Sunday with me, guys. Really do appreciate it. This morning I released the video on the progress that I made on the shop shed build. It was pretty short. I wanted to have the thing finished before I released another video. That didn't pan out because of all of our current events going on down here. And, the fires here in Southern Oregon, the ones that rip through Phoenix and Talent, they are out. It took a long time to get all the utilities taken care of. They didn't let folks back in to look at their properties until I want to say it was Monday or Tuesday of this week, simply because they still had gas lines open and they still had downed wires and everything, and they had to go through and get all of that secured and taken care of before they let people back in. Those fires are basically out. And there was one to the north of us that has stabilized. They've got a line around it and are actively working to put it out. The weather is now cooperating, and they got their air assets back up in the air, and they're fighting that fire. But things are calming down. They had a break in the weather. They had forecast rain for us for about 5 days, and we didn't get a drop. It all went to the north of us. They needed it too, but we could sure use some down here. So we got no rain at all there, and we haven't had any rain since June. But they're forecasting rain next week. We'll see what happens. We could certainly use it. So basically, things got put on hold for a while, waiting on supplies, waiting on equipment, waiting on money to come in. And I gotta tell you, it was a short video this morning, and I didn't mention it in the video, but all of that took place over the course of 8 weeks. I sat and counted it up this morning. And a lot of it was waiting on things to be delivered. A lot of it was waiting on parts. A lot of it was waiting on me to get out there and get those trenches dug. For those wondering, we have to run our electrical trenches 3 feet deep here. They were probably closer to 40 inches deep. And then some sand put down on the bottom, and then the conduit laid, and then sand on top. I used an entire yard of sand in that trench and filled it to within about a foot from grade with sand. So had to go a little bit of dirt to get down there to the sand, and I put in the warning tape. I put in an extra 3/4 inch conduit so I can, if I need to pull another wire to add something later on, I can do it. And then about 1.5 feet above the electrical line, I put my internet line so I don't get a bunch of crosstalk. And I'll be running hardwired internet out in the shop. So, oh boy. So now we're down to moving gravel. I've already moved a little bit. I need to make a ramp basically to get up. I made a dirt ramp up into the perimeter and then a gravel ramp down into it from the other side of the wood, so I can run wheelbarrow and hopefully, fingers crossed, I'm renting a little mini skid steer with a 42-inch wide bucket on it, because it will carry a wheelbarrow full of gravel at a time, versus me loading up about 2/3 of a wheelbarrow full of gravel and hauling it back by hand. But as I said in the video, construction equipment and cleanup equipment it's being rented, it's being used, and I see this being kind of the trend for a while until folks get started rebuilding. It's I mean, there were over 23 homes were destroyed. Not sure yet on how many commercial buildings and businesses, but 2,300 homes are just gone. And folks have to get cleaning up and get started rebuilding. So their needs greater than mine. If I have to do wheelbarrow and shovel, I will. So, that's what's going on here. Also, because, and I'm probably jinxing myself by mentioning it, also, I have a feeling that sheds are going to be in short supply as well. So I may get this pad done and be ready to order the shed and get it brought in. I haven't even ordered it yet because I don't have any place to put it. I have a feeling that it's going to be put off until spring, because I don't think I'm going to be able to get one. I have a feeling they're going to be in short supply. So we'll see what happens. But I have a feeling that's what's going to be happening. But you know what? I've been waiting 7 years for this. What can I say? So if it happens, it happens. If not, I'll do what I have to do. So let's go back up here through the chat and see if we have any questions. Let's see, a few comments on the trenches, again from William Stauffer. Thank you, sir. And let's see. Okay, Ton Burnside wants to know, do you have a video for freehand molding in a spire? I don't, but it is on my list. I'm going to get further into modeling and cutting those models, and in using, making molding profiles and turned spindle profiles. I just haven't been able to sit down, take the time and do it. I'm working on a few more projects right now that I want to get going on, but I prefer to draw up the design and then cut that design so that I'm certain everything works before I show you how to draw something up that you can't cut because it's physically impossible to do. So I'm getting to the point to where the weather is cooling down enough so I can get into the shop and start cutting. I just have to get this gravel laid down and get it compacted, and then I can get back into the shop and start cutting. Then the project videos will start. I'm going to try to get a bunch of them done and have projects every week. One of the things that I want to do with the website that I was talking about earlier is I want to separate off the Vectric for the Absolute Beginner series onto its own page and put them in chronological order, starting with number 1 at the top and working its way down, so folks have a place to go to find all of those videos, both the playlist on the YouTube channel and each separate video with a synopsis of what I talk about in each video. And that'll have its own page on my website. And start getting away from the blog style and get into a more professional look. So, Steve, that kind of gives you a heads up as to what I'm going to be looking for. But I made the announcement last week, I'm ending the Vectric for the Absolute Beginners series because, frankly, I stopped doing beginners videos last year. And everything that I have done since about part 24, 25 has been pretty advanced. So I'm not really doing beginners videos. I'm still going to keep making videos, and I'm still going to keep doing the software tutorials. There's a lot of subjects I haven't covered yet, but they're not beginners videos. They're advanced projects. I want to get into inlays. I want to do some photo V-carving. I want to do more 3D model making, but those are not beginners projects. So we'll get going on that. So, Todd, yes, I do plan on doing some modeling, molding toolpath, and other profiles for rotary axis projects and other things. Let's see. Jeff in Connecticut, nice progress on the building, but you can't wait to move in. No, sir, I cannot wait to move in. I'm going to be basically knocking out the back wall to move the CNC into the new shed, and I just cannot wait till that happens. That old puppy is going to be gone probably before I get the CNC plugged in and turned on in the new shop. So let's see. Let me scroll down here and see, do we have any more questions here? Boy, we're already 16 minutes in. Let's see. Michael Johnston, what time is your live stream collaboration today? I saw you advertising on CNC. That was last night. That was Javi, my friend Javier Unzueta down in Florida. He has a show on Saturday evenings called Javi Unboxed, and he had me as a guest last night. You can hit that link in that posting on Facebook and go over and watch the show. It was kind of a free-form, informal interview, but just a lot of fun, a few tips and tricks there, but more of an informal interview type of a thing. I'll put a link to it in the description of this video so that you can shoot over there and give it a watch. So, but that was last night. Let's see, Jerry Corman, do you know if there is a document out there that has all the keyboard shortcuts for Vcarve? Yes, sir, there is. Let me bring up Aspire here, and this is the same in Vcarve. I'll screen share and make sure I'm screen sharing. Go up here to, now let me, yes, go right here to the help file. Then come down, where is it? Where keyboard shortcuts is the second selection. You click on that and it'll open up in a browser window, and there are all of your keyboard shortcuts right there. And believe me, there are a ton of them. More than you could imagine for all kinds of different things. So there you go. It's basically go up to help. Keyboard shortcuts is the second selection down in Aspire. It should be close to the top in Vcarve as well. So I hope that answers that question. And let's see here. We have, let's see. Kurt Briegel, my question of the day. What software are you using to edit and put together your videos? I need to invest in something for videos we do from our shop. Okay, that's multifaceted. If you're asking for my video editing software, I use Corel. What's it called? It's Corel Video Studio 10 Ultimate. I hesitate to recommend it because it likes to crash. Usually during playback and if you're scrubbing backwards in a video. It's a pretty crashy program. But it does what I need it to do. I know how to use it, so I haven't gotten into another editing software. I looked into HitFilm and DaVinci Resolve. I know a lot of people use them. They are free to download and use, but you're kind of limited on some of the with some of the options, some of the more advanced features. The main reason I went with Corel Video Studio is because years back I had ULead Video Studio. Then Corel bought them out and took over the ULead brands. And when I updated, it went to Corel Video Studio 10. So that's why I have what I have. I've been using that title for several years. For my screen capture, if that's what you're asking about, I use, it's by a company called Blueberry Software. It's called Flashback Express. And I did a video on it last year. I will put a link to that video in the description of this video when we go off the air here. And there is a paid version of Flashback, but I haven't found any options I need in the pay version. So I just go ahead and do my screen capture with Flashback Express. It's two-part. You get the recorder and you get the player. So you record in their native format, and then you open up the player and you can export to MP4, which is what I edit in. And I explain all that in the video and show my settings and how I do it. So it's a good screen capture program. I'm very happy. It works really well. But I'm kind of hesitant to recommend the Corel Video Studio because it crashes so much. And I'm not the only one that has that problem. So I would look at either DaVinci Resolve or HitFilm or some of the other free editing softwares. So I hope that answers your question. So let's see. Richard Canton says, where do I find domes and dishes in Vcarve Pro? I can show you in Aspire, and they should be in the same place. Let me bring it up here and then make sure I'm screen sharing. Yes, I am. Okay, they should be in the same place. And you come down here to the bottom into the modeling tab. Or excuse me, into the clip art tab. I apologize for that. And then come up here to clip art, and they'd be right there. The domes and dishes. Now, having said that, there is a lot of clip art that's available in Aspire that is not available in Vcarve. I am not 100% certain what all comes with Vcarve. It's possible that there are no domes and dishes in Vcarve. I don't know. I've been using Aspire for a little over a year, so but that's where you would look. So, hope that answers your question there. Let's see. Mike Daly, thank you so much for providing all the great beginner Vectric videos. Thank you for checking them out. Are you going to make a tutorial for V-Carve inlays? Yes, I am. I don't know when that's going to happen. As I said earlier, I prefer to cut a few projects, get a few under my belt before I start trying to show somebody else something. And I have not done any inlays at all. They're coming. I've got a couple of designs, and as soon as I can get out into the shed to start working on them, that's one of the first things I'm going to do are some inlays. And then when I get a few under my belt, get some consistent results, then I'll start doing the tutorials. But yes, I do plan on doing some inlays. But look for them. Here's hoping before the new year. So let's see. Would be. I've been following your videos one by one about V-Carve. This is new for me. Welcome aboard. After 36 years of woodworking, I decided to invest in a CNC machine. To be honest, I bought a machine to make templates. So did I, actually. I got into CNC to make templates and parts for guitars. And haven't made any of either of those yet. I've been having too much fun making other things. So let's see. Paul Stewart wants to know how I plan on finish the interior of the shop shed. That remains to be seen. I'm definitely going to insulate it, but I'm not sure if I'm going to go with OSB and then paint it, or plywood and then paint it. I'm not certain. I'm definitely going to be painting it either a light gray or a cream color. I want some light in there, but I don't want it hospital operating theater bright white. I've got to get more light. Basically, right now in this shed, I have two places I can put a camera. And the new shop, I plan on having a lot more light so that I can move the camera around, get some better angles. So, but they will either be plywood or OSB walls and painted. So, let's see. Looking down here, a couple more people recommending DaVinci Resolve. Sargon says Corel Anything has been crashing for the last 30 years. You know, I use Paint Shop Pro for my image editing software, and I have yet to have a problem with it. I've never had a crash. It's just the Ding Dong Video Studio, and then only when it does certain things. So, what can you say? Michael Mezelik says, Mike, they are like in Aspire. Okay, so there are domes and dishes in Vcarve. Great. So, let's see. Michael Johnston wants to know, is there a way to import grayscale relief maps into Vcarve Pro? You know, I have never tried to import them into Vcarve. I know you can import them into Aspire. Michael, I don't know if you know that, if there is a way to import the grayscale depth maps into Vcarve. Something is telling me I don't think so, but I could be wrong. I know I can import them into Aspire. I never tried to import them into Vcarve, to be honest with you. While we're on this subject, don't forget that Vectric has an excellent support forum. And if you are not a registered member over there at the Vectric support forum, you're really shortchanging yourself. There are some people over there who are absolute wizards with this stuff. I mean, guys like Michael Tyler, the man who makes all of Vectric's free projects. the monthly free projects. He's a member over there. Michael Turner, Mike Mezelik. There are some absolute wizards over there. So if I don't have an answer for you, that is an excellent place to go to get a good answer. I highly recommend it. I'll go ahead and put a link to them. Write a note to myself. Here, I'll put a link to it down in the description of this video. That support for them is a lifesaver. These guys are, absolute artists with the stuff. Okay, Mike says, only if they're a bitmap, which most of them are, but you cannot create a 3D component from them. I knew you wouldn't be able to create a 3D component, but I wasn't sure if you could import it. And then, well, I don't see much. Yeah, I don't see much sense in importing it if you can't make a 3D component out of it. Yeah, anyway. Let's see. Woody Wan. Jeff wants to know, do any of your earlier videos shows what each tab and button does, both in layout and carving selections? I don't have one video that shows what each of the icons does, but when I talk about a certain subject, I do go through them. And for instance, especially some of the beginner ones where I demonstrate separate tool paths, demonstrate the profile tool path, or demonstrate the pocketing tool path. I go through and show all the settings there. As far as over in the drawing tab, I have some of the earlier absolute beginner videos show the breakdown of the drawing tools than the editing tools, but I don't go one by one. I kind of introduced them as I needed to use them to demonstrate them. So, but I never actually went down the list. These are all the tools in the create vectors, or these are all the tools in the edit objects section. I've never done that, no. So let's see. Mike Smith says, I think CNC Nuts did a Grayscale import in Vcarve. Yeah, if you're not subscribed to CNC Nuts, Peter Pasuelo, I highly recommend. Let me go ahead and make a note to link his channel too. Peter was the first CNC person I ever subscribed to on YouTube before I even thought about building one. I just liked what he was doing. And he's a great guy, and he knows what he's doing. He's got some excellent content over there. So, let's see. Richard says, I have tried cutting aluminum and I got a burn trace on my waste board. Do you think it's because my feed rate is too low? A bit afraid of testing going faster. That's possible. I'm not a metal guy. It may be your spindle RPMs were too fast, but you're building up heat, and that hence the burn trace. Generally speaking, if you're generating heat, you're either moving too slow or your spindle RPM is too fast. One of the two. So if you're nervous about speeding up your feed rate, try slowing down your RPM. Also, depends on how many flutes you have on the bit. I know that folks who are using a CNC router to cut metal tend to go with O-flute bits, open flute bits. Not using 4 flutes or things like that. So I don't know what bit you were using, but you can try reducing your spindle RPM. And Jeff Woodywan just posted, there are special bits just for aluminum. My boss swears by them. Yes, that's what I was talking about. The single flute open flute bits for aluminum. There's the helix, the spiral, is designed for aluminum. The thing is, you've got to evacuate those chips fast because they take the heat with them. And that'll help. That big, wide open flute just evacuates that chip and spits it out of there. So you might look into... okay, you said you used a 4-flute bit. That's more than likely the problem. That's more than likely the problem. So when you think about it, a 4-flute bit, you have multiplied the number of cuts you've made in one revolution of the spindle by 4. So to use a 4-flute bit, you would really have to speed it up to dissipate that heat. And they make open flute bits for acrylic and plastics, and open flute bits for aluminum. Just make sure you get the right one. So, okay. Yeah, Todd HCNC says try a 10,000ths depth of cut at 100 inches per minute. Okay, yeah. And with air or a coolant for metal and low RPMs, yes. Okay, okay. Alrighty. Okay, I think I see Ice Cream 62 just linked Peter Passuelo's video. I will go ahead and post, like I said, a link in the description of this video. So, to link Peter Passuelo's channel. Do check him out. Holy cow, already been on for 36 minutes. I am not a metal guy, so I'm going to defer to Mario, Todd HCNC, Chris Leach, and everybody else who is a metal guy talking about cutting aluminum. I want to get into it, but here's the reason I'm hesitant, so maybe you guys can help me out on this. I have heard from several people that aluminum makes an absolute mess. And if you go run an aluminum job on a router you tend to use for wood, you will probably have aluminum chips all over your spoil board that'll embed themselves in your spoil board, and it's hard to clean up after. And I just didn't want to deal with that mess. Is that really the case? Now, keep in mind, I have very minimal dust collection right now, but in the new shop shed, hopefully that changes. Fingers crossed. But have you experienced that? Have you experienced a huge mess on a basically a wood router when you go cutting aluminum? Okay, I see Todd HCNC says yes, it does. That's why I've been hesitant to cut any metal on my CNC router. Now I get the new shop shed. I have a second CNC in storage that, in fact, it was the first one I ever built. I might be able to dedicate that to cutting metal, so I don't have to worry about it. We'll see what happens. I mean, this is only a 12 by 16 shed. I know I've already got it filled up 4 times. So, okay. Okay. Todd says you can put down plastic first. That's probably, that would probably be a good move. Okay. All right. Well, thank you for that. I appreciate it. I'm not a metal guy. I've only worked with wood and a couple of other materials. And I've always wanted to get into metal. I just have never had the time or the need. I mean, all these projects I've got sitting at the side have taken up all my time. Okay. I hope I got to everybody's questions. Okay, here we go. We got a couple more. I've cut metal on CNCs for 37 years. I would not do it. It will wreck bearings and guide rails. You know, that's an excellent one. I didn't think about that. What I have told people in the past is if you're going to focus on cutting metal, look into a CNC mill, because a CNC router is not made for that. It can do it, but it's kind of like hauling a ton of rock in a Geo Metro. It'll do it, but, you know, and the fan on the router blows the chips around. Yeah, that was my concern as well, Todd. Okay. Okay. All right. Well, yeah, I'm gonna set the metal part aside, and who knows, if I get into metal, maybe I'll look into a CNC mill, but probably not, because we're gonna get back into the space problem. Because I still have a table saw to move into there, and hopefully a drum sander. We'll see. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and end this now. Thank you for asking my questions, you metal gurus. I really appreciate it. Next week, I don't know what I'm going to do for a video. I have one in mind. We'll see if it pans out. But that's going to be about, well, I'm not even going to mention it until I know for sure what I'm going to do. So thank you again, everybody. Thank you for the well wishes. Thank you for the monetary donations. I really appreciate that for sure. And thank you to all of you folks who have reached out asking how we're doing. We are perfectly safe. All the fires moved away from us, and we're doing all right. Just plugging away. So, I'll go ahead and thank you, Michael, for reminding me about that. For those of you who are interested, the Vectric user group meeting that was supposed to be in San Diego this year, they had to cancel due to this fun COVID thing. They are doing a live virtual users group meeting. Go into your V and Company account at Vectric. It's going to be, let's see, next weekend, this coming up weekend. They will be doing several live videos. Some of the times for us in the U.S. are going to be kind of fun, because like I think the first class, the first speaker comes on at 3 a.m. my time, which is going to be, we'll see what happens. But check into your V and Company account and look for the virtual users group meeting for all the info. The schedule is up and who is going to be speaking and when, and the classes that they're going to be presenting. So thank you for reminding me, Michael. I really do appreciate it. All right. I'm going to say thank you very much, everybody. I'll get these links in the description as soon as I get finished here. And I'll just say bye, y'all. Take care and have a good Sunday.